Hello guys, my name is Venus and welcome to my channel. Let me introduce myself before we can start off this video. So here are my socials. You might know me from TikTok. If so, I'm so glad you're here. And if you don't and you're just finding me for the first time, consider subscribing. I talk about goth things, alternative things. Consider me as your goth elder or younger sister, depends on your age. So yeah, today's video is gonna be my tips and tricks for baby bats or people who are starting out in the goth community. So if you're interested, please stay. And yeah, let's get on to the video. So my first tip is to literally don't care what others say about you, because people are haters. People are hating for so much, and I have like so much skin in the game, let's say, because I have been goth. Next month it will be 5 years as I have been in the subculture. So truly, the moment you stop caring what people are gonna say about you, that is so freeing. And I'm talking from experience. I'm talking from others people's experiences. And I don't just mean what basic people say to you. I mean what the other alternative people say to you. Because I have seen this trend going around, like around last year, I think it was very popular, of femme presenting alternative people. Not only, but mostly I've seen like femme presenting alternative people filming a video where they're without makeup or like with more basic clothes. And the text on the screen would be like, when you're too alternative for basic people, but too basic for alternative people. Um, Literally, this is such an chronically online issue that I suggest highly and strongly that you do not fall into that. People, when you meet people outside of the internet, it will definitely not be like that. You will, trust me, no matter how you look, you will attract your people. Because I look like this, right? I have blonde, ginger, brown, and black hair. I don't look very goth for my makeup, but my friends are literally the sweetest alternative people I have ever met. And it's really not in the way you look, it's really in your kindness, it's in your hobbies, because similar hobbies, similar likes, dislikes attract people, So don't worry about that. And if anybody is trying to gatekeep you from being goth, here's one thing to remember: goth is not the fashion. E-girls are just the fashion. What goth is: music, values, beliefs, politics, and just humanitarian things, and knowing the history. It started as a musical counterculture movement, right? So being goth to like only just kind of like like boiling goth down to just the looks, it doesn't do any good. Trust me, believe me, because yeah, that's just one of the tips. Okay. Tip number 2 is find the bands you like. And I will make a video about this because for me personally, it was very hard to get into goth music at first. Firstly, when I did get into goth music, Scary Bitches was the band that I fell in love with. The song Lesbian Vampires from Outer Space. One of my still favorite, oh my god, I cannot talk. Still one of my favorite songs of all time. And it was really hard for me at first because I didn't like Bauhaus. I didn't like The Cure. I kind of like Susie and the Banshees. I needed to grow into them. I am a huge fan now, as you can see from posters and things like that. I have a lot of like DIY merch of them and stuff like that. So yeah, I really did need to grow into that band. I didn't really like at first London After Midnight. I liked Specimen though, and I liked Scary Bitches. So what you gotta do is you gotta find the sound you like, because goth music, it's post-punk, goth rock, right? So you go into that and learn different subgenres of that music, like cold wave, dark wave, death rock, that's my favorite. And just overall, just learn that. And yeah, you gotta learn what music there is and try digging into it. I have talked more about music and bands I recommend on TikTok, so if you're not following me there yet, maybe give it a little look, because it is very helpful to actually find the bands you like. And please do not be like ashamed that you don't like the more popular goth bands like The Cure, because I'm not a big fan of The Cure. I like a few of the songs, but I wouldn't say like I'm a diehard, right? And it's just because it's not my vibe. I am way more of a death rock girly. I enjoy darkwave a lot. I enjoy bands like Nosferatu, Joy Division. I enjoy Incubus Succubus and stuff like that, you know? So maybe the thing is that you're not like not into the music. Maybe the thing is that you're not into the mainstream music, and there's nothing wrong with that. Trust me, believe me, real goths understand that. Okay. Tip number 3. Do not try to push yourself into one aesthetic box of goth. Like, for example, a lot of baby bats, when they're starting out, they will go for the so-called trad look, but actually, it is the modern goth look. This is trad goth. Yeah? You see the difference? This is what is the interpretation of trad goth in the 2020, right? In these years, but this is what trad goth looks like. A topic for another day again. But yeah, don't try to push yourself into a box. At first, when you're starting out, I believe a lot of people go into it like, okay, here are the subgenres of genres of goth: cyber goth, romantic goth, vampire goth, rockabilly, gothabilly, mopey, trad, modern, new, and just go on and on and on. Nobody cares. Trust me, nobody cares about what subgenre of goth you are, because when you step outside of like the internet, that doesn't really exist. That doesn't really make a difference. We all are goth and we all are in the same field, and we all like mostly the same things, and that is what matters, not the way you put yourself into an aesthetic box. Also, another thing, don't try to like build up your closet in like a week, because it takes time. Thrifting, DIYing, secondhand clothes and stuff like that, it takes time. Yeah, I will make another video about thrifting and how to build up your goth closet, but that's for another day, so yeah, stay tuned. Another very like good tip I have, it's like tip 4, right? It's like, don't be scared of color. Because a lot of goths, when they start out, they're like, oh, I gotta cut out all color out of my life. I gotta do black, maybe white, and maybe gray, and maybe once in a while purple. No. If you love the color green, pink, blue, orange, I don't care, use them. Have you seen our icon, Susie? Yeah? In the video of Spellbound, she's literally wearing yellow and polka dots and little fun patterns, because wearing color, having color does not make you not goth. Another thing about color, a lot of goths just straight up go for black hair, and I love black hair. I love goth girls with black hair. But if you live with your parents still and they don't let you dye your hair, and like, let's say you're brown hair, blonde, anything like that, don't worry, okay? Do not worry about that, because it's really not in the hair color. And I remember when I was starting out, I dyed my hair black because my parents don't care about my hair color. But a lot of people who start out, their parents aren't as chill as mine with self-expression, and they're like, oh, I wish I was like you. Girl, no, calm down. You are just as good being yourself. Tip number 5, learn the history, please, because you will come in contact with people who try to like explain, like spread misinformation to you, and that's not it, right? Because you will come in contact with like MAGA goths, posers, okay? And people like that who are gonna be trying to like gaslight you into believing that, oh, it's like, it's not politics, or like, oh, goth did not stem from punk, you don't have to listen to the music, you don't have to have the values, learn the history. I'll make a video about history on the goth subculture so that it would be easier for you guys. But I really highly recommend listening to other creators in like maybe elder goths, or just like reading about it, because it does feel very like, it feels like you're knowledgeable in your subculture, and that really gives confidence. So yeah. Okay, I think tip number 6 would be, please, for the love of God, don't think that you're any less goth if you don't have piercings or tattoos, or you can't do makeup, or you can't dye your hair, okay? Because goth, as I said, it's not about the look, it's about the values, it's about the music, it's about the history. So I only started getting piercings, as you can see, I have my septum inside of my nose. I have stretched out ears and stuff like that, but that's because my parents that's because my parents are a little bit more chill than normal parents, right? So, you know, you don't have to, like, when you're just starting out, do not think that you have to go get the piercings, go stretch the piercings. You don't have to jump and like do this big jump into like, oh, I'm gonna wear only dark makeup now, I'm only gonna do that, and I'm only gonna do that, you know? Wait and make sure that it is really what you want to do. Because I have been, when I got my first piercing, like, it was, okay, first facial piercing was this one last year, summer. So it was 4 years as I've been in the subculture and I did not get a piercing. Because, first of all, my parents didn't really let me at that point. And also because I needed to make sure that it is what I want to do with my life. So do not make life decisions, especially that I know most of like the starting off goths, they're teenagers. So do not try to make the big decision of, oh, I will never regret this in like start of your life, right? Because it can be a lot, and piercings, they do leave scars. Tattoos, if you regret tattoos, expensive to remove, covering up is expensive, and don't get anything like satanic symbols or anything, because jobs don't like to hire people that look like that, right? We all know that we live in this weird society that doesn't really enjoy hiring alternative people. So just don't ruin your future just because you feel like it's right now, right? You get what I'm saying? Okay. Tip number 7 is, when you're like really getting into the fashion, do not throw out your old basic clothes, right? We can DIY them. I have a lot of videos about DIY on my TikTok. Yeah, some selfless promotion. Yeah, so please do not throw things out, because us goths, we're really trying to live sustainably and live like, use everything that we have. So DIY is going to be your best friend. Also, thrift will be your best friend. So please do not just like throw things away. Another thing that I have heard a lot of people be like embarrassed of is their rooms. Like, oh, I don't have a goth enough room. You don't have to. I sleep in pink Hello Kitty sheets, and my walls are peach, and most of my things, like, I got porcelain dolls, and I got witchcraft things on this. You don't have to have like a goth room, if you get what I mean. Let me take off my sweater. I'm getting hot. Okay, I took off my sweater. Tip number 9 is, you don't have to, also this kind of goes with tip number 8, you don't have to change your personality and your interests. Because I don't know why, but a lot of like starting off goths, they think that, oh, if I like, for example, let's say I like Hello Kitty, right? Oh, that's not really goth, so I gotta cut that out of my life. Or, oh, I like My Little Pony, and I'm gonna cut that out of my life because it's not very goth, it's not very dark, it's not very like, you know? Do not do that, please. Because you'll just end up hating yourself in that way. Because truly, you are you, and you don't have to be a stereotype, right? You are a human being with different feelings, different emotions, different interests, and it all makes you who you are, right? Because a lot of people, when they're starting off, they think that, oh, I cannot like that, I cannot like that, I cannot like that. Same as like as I talked with colors. Don't, do not change things about you just to fit into the stereotypes of the subculture, right? Yeah, that's one of the tips that I wish somebody told me when I was younger and just starting out. Because truly, you are who you are, and your hobbies make you you. And if you like playing volleyball and you like doing goth makeup and listening to goth music, more power to you. Please don't change yourself to fit into the subculture. Okay, and now for tip number 10. This one is a very like all around one. Just be eager to learn and to hear what other goths are telling you. At first, I know I did say don't care what people say about you, but you gotta listen right now, okay? Write this down. Don't listen to the hate. Listen to the constructive criticism. If somebody is telling you, oh my god, that makeup's so fucking stupid, why would you do that? No, that is not constructive criticism. That is just bullying. But if somebody is telling you, like, oh, hey, girly, I think you should blend more, or I think this eyeliner type would fit like your eye shape better, or these eyebrows would look better with your facial structure, that is constructive criticism. If somebody's telling you, oh my god, why would you wear that? Hate. That is hating, that is bullying. But if somebody is telling you, I think this would go better with this, or maybe try a different top, maybe try styling it differently, or if somebody is trying to educate you about the bands, like let's say I recently just had like a conversation with somebody about She Wants Revenge. You have to be eager to learn about the bands, about the culture, about the things, and it can be quite difficult to like firstly like get to understand what is hate and what is genuine like constructive criticism and people trying to help you. So please do your own research and be eager to learn from elder goths and the community around you. So yeah, be respectful, have fun. If you have any other questions or video suggestions, please let me know in the comments. I would love to hear from you guys. What did you like about this video? What did you not like? What did I forget to add? So yeah, thank you so much for watching, and see you next Friday.